My beloved brothers and sisters, before you complain about anything today, pause for a moment and imagine this. What if you woke up tomorrow with only the blessings you thanked Allah for today? Just think. Would you still have your sight, your parents, your voice, your health, your friends, your home, your peace? Or would everything disappear because you were too busy worrying about what you didn't have? We chase what is missing so much that we forget to hold on to what is already in our hands. And the truth is, the blessings you ignore today might be the blessings you'll cry for tomorrow. So listen with your heart for the next few minutes, because this message might change the way you look at your entire life. Gratitude begins with recognizing the blessings that have been quietly surrounding you long before you ever learned how to ask for anything. Many people think Shukr is only about saying Alhamdulillah when something big happens, when a prayer is accepted, when a problem is solved, or when a gift arrives. But gratitude is deeper than that. It is a way of seeing. It is the ability to notice how much goodness Allah has already placed in your life before you complain about what is missing. It is the humility to understand that even the smallest blessing is far greater than what you deserve. When you wake up, your eyes open automatically. Did you ask Allah to let them see again? When your heart beats, it beats without your permission. Did you tell it to? When your legs carry you across the room, when your mind remembers the faces you love, when the water you drink reaches every cell in your body, did you command any of that? We forget these blessings because they happen quietly, perfectly, every moment. So the first step toward true gratitude is pausing long enough to truly see them. People spend so much time comparing their lives to the lives of others. They scroll through social media and convince themselves that everyone else is happier, richer, luckier, more loved. They forget that Allah crafted every heart with its own journey, its own tests, its own ease. Gratitude dies the moment comparison is born, and ignorance grows the moment you stop seeing the blessings that were given only to you. Sometimes you look at somebody else's life and say, if I had what they have, I would be grateful. But the truth is, if you are not grateful now, you will not be grateful then. Gratitude is not built by getting more. It is built by appreciating what already exists. There are people waking up in hospital beds wishing for the health you complain about. There are people praying for a small house while you complain that your room is too small. There are people wishing for one real friend while you complain about the attitudes of the many around you. Gratitude is perspective. The moment you shift how you look at things, everything changes. One of the most beautiful realities about gratitude is that it brings peace even before it brings blessings. The person who can look around and say Alhamdulillah with sincerity carries a heart that is calmer, softer, and more content than the one who always asks, why me? When you thank Allah, you are admitting that He has already cared for you in ways you didn't even notice. You are acknowledging that you are not abandoned, that you are not forgotten, that your life is not empty. Gratitude fills the heart with a quiet strength because it reminds you of how many times Allah has carried you, protected you, forgiven you, lifted you, and opened doors you didn't even knock on. Sometimes the blessing you're ignoring is the same one someone else is begging for, and sometimes the hardship you're going through is keeping you away from a danger you cannot see. Gratitude in both ease and hardship reshapes the heart into one that trusts Allah fully. The more you recognize your blessings, the smaller your problems feel. It doesn't mean the problems disappear. It means you stop exaggerating them. When you focus on what you have instead of what you lack, you naturally become more patient, more hopeful, and more connected to your Creator. Gratitude is like a light. When it enters the heart, darkness can't overpower it. Worry, fear, jealousy, and sadness begin to fade because the heart is too busy counting Allah's gifts. Think of the moments in your life when you felt completely lost, yet somehow you made it through. Think of the du'as you once whispered that later became your reality. Think of the people who left, only for Allah to replace them with someone better. Each of these is a blessing, and none of them happened accidentally. Try something simple. Sit alone for a moment and count 10 blessings you have right now. Not the big things, the small ones. Your breath, a roof, clothes, a memory that makes your heart warm, someone who cares about you. The ability to read these words. Before you even reach 10, you'll realize Allah has given you more than you could ever count. If you spent your entire life writing down every blessing you received, you would leave the world with the list unfinished. Gratitude is not an action you perform out of duty. It is a recognition that you are surrounded by mercy from every side. When you begin to see your life this way, you grow calmer, happier, and more spiritually awake. And the more you thank Allah for what you have now, the more He will give you of what your heart is praying for. Gratitude during hardship is one of the most powerful forms of worship, yet it is also one of the most misunderstood. Many people believe they can only be grateful when life feels easy, when their hearts are light, when their plans work out exactly as they imagined. But the truth is very different. Real gratitude is born in moments when things are not going your way. It grows from the ability to look at your pain and still say, "My Lord is with me." When a believer trains the heart to see blessings even in difficulty, every hardship becomes a doorway to Allah's mercy. Every struggle becomes a lesson, a purification, a step towards something better. Gratitude during tests does not mean pretending everything is perfect. It means trusting that your hardship has purpose, even when you cannot see it. Allah never burdens a soul beyond what it can bear, but sometimes He allows certain moments to shake you so that you wake up spiritually. There are times in life when you feel your heart breaking, yet later you realize that the very thing that broke you also rebuilt you. Gratitude in hardship teaches you to search for the wisdom behind the pain instead of drowning in the pain itself. You begin to ask, what is Allah teaching me? What protection is hidden inside this test? What doors is Allah closing so that a better one can open? When a person reaches this level of thinking, they do not crumble under trials. They rise through them, they grow through them, they find strength they did not know they had. Hardships become a form of purification, washing away arrogance, oversights, old wounds, and harmful attachments. They soften the heart and redirect it back to the one who never changes. There are blessings hidden inside every challenge, even if they are invisible at first. Sometimes Allah removes something from your life because it was silently harming you. Sometimes a delay in your plans is actually saving you from loss. Sometimes being pushed out of a situation is Allah's mercy leading you toward a better chapter. Gratitude transforms difficulties into reminders that Allah is still guiding you, still watching over you, still protecting you in ways your eyes cannot perceive. When you look back on your past hardships, how many times did you think something was the end for you, only for it to become a beginning? How many times did you lose something you loved, only to discover later that Allah replaced it with something far better? This is why a grateful heart remains steady. It understands that the storm today might be the reason for tomorrow's peace. Gratitude during hardship also protects your heart from bitterness. When a person faces difficulty without gratitude, their heart becomes tight, resentful, and exhausted. They begin to lose hope in themselves and sometimes even in the mercy of Allah. But the moment you say Alhamdulillah while standing inside your trial, something changes internally. Your heart loosens, your mind clears, you stop fighting the situation and start trusting the one who controls it. You remind yourself that your story is still unfolding, that Allah has not written anything for you except what will ultimately benefit you. Gratitude acts like an anchor that keeps you steady in the waves of life. Without it, you drift. With it, you remain grounded. Think of the prophets, peace be upon them. Their lives were filled with tests, grief, rejection, loneliness, loss, yet they remained grateful in every phase. Their gratitude did not erase their pain, but it turned their pain into elevation, closeness to Allah, and spiritual strength. Their gratitude teaches us that being tested does not mean Allah is displeased with you. Sometimes it means He is preparing you for a blessing larger than what you prayed for. Sometimes He is raising your rank in a way your deeds alone could not achieve. When you become grateful during hardship, you become a person who sees beyond the surface of things. You develop eyes that recognize mercy even when wrapped in difficulty. And the beautiful truth is this: the more grateful you are in hardship, the shorter your hardship feels. Gratitude brings a quiet peace that makes the heart more patient, more accepting, more hopeful. It gives you the strength to say, this moment will pass, Allah is with me, something good is coming. That mindset alone lightens half the burden. You stop questioning why things are happening and start trusting that Allah's plan is always wiser than your own. You begin to notice small signs of relief, small improvements, small mercies that were always there but drowned out by your fear. Gratitude during difficulty does not erase the hardship, but it transforms you while you go through it. It protects your iman, strengthens your character, and deepens your connection with Allah. The pain might still be there, but the despair disappears. The tears may still fall, but the hopelessness fades. You walk through the trial with your head lowered in humility and your heart raised in certainty. And when the hardship finally lifts, as all hardships eventually do, you look back and realize you did not walk through it alone. Gratitude made you aware of that. A grateful heart is not just a heart that says thank you, it is a heart that attracts more of what it thanks Allah for. This is one of the most beautiful promises given to us. When you show gratitude, Allah increases your blessings in ways you could never have imagined. But this increase is not limited to wealth, health, or material things. Sometimes the increase comes in the form of peace, clarity, guidance, patience, emotional strength, new opportunities, or protection from harm. Gratitude opens the door to more goodness because it reflects a heart that acknowledges the generosity of its Creator. When Allah sees that His servant appreciates what He has already given, Allah opens doors to what the servant does not yet have. Gratitude is like planting a seed. When you water it consistently with sincere appreciation, the tree of blessings continues to grow, offering shade and fruit in every season of your life. Many of us wait for something big to happen before we thank Allah, not realizing that every great blessing begins with appreciating the small ones. When you thank Allah for the little you have, He entrusts you with more. But when you take blessings for granted, even the things you already have lose their sweetness. There are people who have wealth but no joy, people who have relationships but no peace, people who have everything the world can offer yet feel empty inside. Gratitude fills the emptiness. It turns what you have into enough. It transforms ordinary moments into spiritual treasures. When you live with gratitude, your heart becomes content. And contentment is one of the greatest blessings Allah can grant a believer. A content heart sleeps peacefully, wakes hopefully, and walks through life with trust in Allah's plan. Contentment itself is an increase. Allah knows the state of every heart. He sees who turns to Him only in need and who remembers Him even in comfort. When you show gratitude consistently, in ease and in difficulty, when receiving and when waiting, you demonstrate that your relationship with Allah is genuine. That sincerity becomes a reason for Allah to bless you further. Gratitude is not only spoken by the tongue, it is lived by the heart. It shows in the choices you make, the way you treat people, the way you respond to challenges. A person who is grateful doesn't complain endlessly. They don't live comparing themselves to others. They don't ignore the quiet mercies that fill their days. Their heart is awake, and because it is awake, it sees blessings that others overlook. This awareness itself attracts more blessings, because when Allah sees you noticing His gifts, He gives you more reasons to notice. Gratitude also shapes your relationship with the world. A grateful person becomes easier to please, easier to satisfy, and easier to comfort. They find beauty in simple things, a calm morning, a sincere smile, a small success, a moment of silence. They are not constantly chasing what others have or what they themselves lack. They walk through life with gentle eyes, recognizing that every moment carrying Allah's mercy is a moment worth celebrating. And because they live with such a heart, Allah places barakah in their time. their wealth, their relationships, and their future. Sometimes the increase you receive is not in the form of quantity, but in quality. A little money becomes enough. A small circle of friends becomes a source of deep support. A short dua becomes a reason for big breakthroughs. A small effort earns great reward. Gratitude is what brings this barakah. Another beautiful reality is that gratitude brings you closer to Allah. When you thank Him often, you remember Him often. When you remember Him often, your heart moves closer to Him. And when your heart moves closer to Him, every blessing becomes more meaningful. You begin to see your entire life as a conversation with your Creator. Every gift a sign of His love, every hardship a sign of His wisdom, every delay a sign of His planning. Once you reach this level, gratitude becomes natural. You no longer force yourself to say Alhamdulillah, it flows from your heart effortlessly. And when gratitude becomes natural, blessings flow naturally too. Blessings are like birds. They land where they feel safe. A grateful heart is a safe home for blessings. When you appreciate what Allah gives, those blessings remain. When you ignore them, they fly away. If you want your blessings to increase, to grow, to multiply, then appreciate them deeply and sincerely. Every time you say Alhamdulillah from the heart, you are pulling another blessing toward you. Every time you thank Allah, you are strengthening the bridge between you and Him. And every time you choose gratitude over complaint, you elevate yourself in the sight of Allah. A grateful person lives a richer, calmer, more meaningful life because they see that every moment, every breath, every opportunity is a gift. And the more they see those gifts, the more Allah fills their life with gifts they never even asked for.